So you don't deserve a divorce just because he isn't slapping you or cheating on you. Is that how it works? Hi friends, so in one of my recent videos, if you might have seen, we discussed the story of Sana. In her own words, Sana talked about how she is going through a divorce and what led her to apply for a divorce. One of the prominent things that would have stayed with a lot of people, and a lot of people did write to me and talk to me about it, is the problem that unless there are scars and wounds on a woman's body, most of the time, her own family, let alone the whole society, her own family is unable to show her any love or compassion, because to their eyes, as long as a husband is not beating her black and blue, and some people are even okay with him sleeping around, as long as that's not happening, they say, yeah, it's just how a man's behavior is supposed to be. So just put up with it and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. This is how men are. But apparently, as a feminist, I don't see that to be a true statement, because I don't believe all men are violent or should be violent, or all men like to somehow show their manliness by beating around the kids and the women in their house. So my expectation of men is a little higher. I'm not expecting too much. Not saying you have to be the best guy in the whole world, but at least not beating the people around in your house. So anyway, a lot of people think that that is normal behavior, but in this video, I want to talk about the 9 intimidation tactics. So if the person is not beating you around, but he is doing these intimidation tactics, which means you very well have the right to get a divorce, because the intimidation tactics are leaving scars on you, on your psyche. These are destroying your emotional and mental health. Just because the scar on the body is not there does not mean that the scar on the brain is not there. If you speak to a proper therapist or a psychiatrist, they would be able to tell you, with the measurement of your hormones and the brain chemistry, they would be able to tell you the amount of stress this has caused you, and because of that stress, how your brain function is being hampered, and for all the reasons that these things have been happening, that will show up on your body physically. So there's a separate video I made last month about the physical impacts of mental health problem when you are going through something really horrible, and although there are no scars or broken bones, but your body will show symptoms. So check that one out. But for now, let's start with the intimidation tactics. So first one is a very simple one, which we are very familiar with, is that the person throws the objects around, which means whatever is in his hand, he's gonna throw it, not maybe at you, but on the wall. And whenever he's angry, he's expressing his anger by throwing objects around. If you feed him food, he's gonna throw the food on the floor. If you're in the kitchen, he might spill something, stuff like that. Then he punches on walls or furniture. He breaks things around with his punch. So if he is getting angry at something, then he is showing his anger, not maybe punching your face, but he is punching things around. What does that mean? He is trying to intimidate you, that if you keep on, then your head could be next. These are things that intimidate a person in the same room, and they're gonna be worried for their safety forever, thinking this is gonna happen to me any moment now. Third thing, they indulge in regular put downs. So anything you do or say, they will find a reason to insult you. They'll find a way to make you feel like you're nothing, like you're some kind of useless piece of garbage. They might use those exact same words. They might just say, oh, without me, you're nothing. What were you? If I had not chosen you, you would be begging on the street, things like that. So there's a huge range of put downs, the mean things, the nastiest shit you can say to someone. If these things are happening when you are in a fight and there is, a moment of anger, it's a different issue. We all are nasty and mean sometimes. We are having a bad day, we are not in the mood for some reason. But remember, the point is this being a regular occurrence, whether or not there's a fight. Fourth point, they're a control freak. They control every aspect of your life, or at least most of it that they can. So they tell you if you can talk to your parents. They tell you if you can meet your siblings, your brothers and sisters or not. They tell you which friends you're allowed to hang out with, or if you're not allowed to hang out with any friends at all, if at all. So they tell you if you can have a job. They tell you if you can earn a living and have any hobbies. They tell you what to make in the kitchen. They tell you how to dress yourself, how to put your hair, what to do with other things about your body, be it reproductive choices or be it sexual choices, any things like that. They are the one who's trying to have the steering on their hands all the time, because they are, I've seen people control their partner's phone. Give me your passwords. And I'm not saying in any way that women can't be control freaks. I've seen control freak women. They are awful as well. But right now, since we're talking about intimidation tactics used by men, let's keep the focus on that. But all the guys, if you are listening, that these things, women can be very much capable of doing all these things too. So remember, any person who's trying to control you, even if it's, let alone partner, even if it is your own friend or your brother or your sister, anybody who's trying to manage every aspect of your life and telling you you cannot wear this, they're judging you for the choices you're making, you cannot go there. It's different from someone who's looking out for you. This is not called looking out for someone. This is when they will pretend that I'm looking out for you, I'm being protective of you, I'm being possessive about you because I love you. No, darling, it's not love. You're intimidating the person. That's what it is. So let's just call it that. Next point, they are in your face all the time, or as much as time they can. Which means if you are having a bad day, or if you're not in the mood, and if you're trying to just avoid a conversation because you're trying to keep the peace in the house, they will come at your face and they'll try to challenge you. They'll try to provoke you. They'll try to say things so that you give them a reaction. And in situations like this, the reaction most women give is that they start crying. And when they start crying, then the man gets even more angrier, and they'll punching on a walls, and they say, yeah, I can't talk to you, you're so stupid, you're so silly, you start crying, can you talk 2 words like a human being, you're like a 12-year-old. These are all the nastiest shit. And then the woman cries even more, because then she's feeling so shitty about herself, and the cycle keeps on and on. Next point, they raise their voice constantly. So you can only speak with this person in a very low voice, in a calm manner, but they can yell at you, scream at you anytime, any moment they want, because they have the right to do that. So when they're doing this, they're trying to intimidate you. They're trying to tell you, I'm the dominant one in the house, I'm the alpha person, you are the one who's going to be submissive, you're going to obey me, you're going to obey my orders, and I can boss you around, and you just have to follow that. That's an intimidation tactic in a bad marriage. Next, they might angry faces. So let's say you people are in a party or in a public space. So the other person, this man, he doesn't want you to pick something in the shopping center, or you're in a party or a public place and he doesn't want you to meet some person, or he doesn't want you to go with your family or hang out with certain kind of people. He will make angry faces. He will keep grinding his teeth, and he will keep giving you that signal from his body language that if you do this on your own, then wait what I do until we go home tonight. So this physical body language, it's people look for scars and wounds on a woman's body, but what they don't know is that when you live with a man like this, even with his body language, he can intimidate you and he can stress you out in a room full of people where you can feel isolated and the loneliest person in the room, because nobody in that goddamn room understands how you're feeling. So this kind of angry faces and this body language is all part of that. Next is name calling. They call you mean names. They give you shitty titles. They make direct personal attacks on you so that you feel bad about yourself all the time. Another way to intimidate. They make you work 24/7, which means anytime in the day or night, give me a coffee, give me a tea, I want a snack, why didn't you put my clothes on the dryer, where is my bag, where is my watch, where is my wallet. So I've seen men do this shit like their entire lives. The woman in the house is running around fetching them things and making sure, like how you send a kid to a school. When they come home from the school, they throw all this shit around, and then the mom is trying to collect everything. And that too is like understandable when you are between 10 and 12, and after that even children become responsible. But when a man is doing that, he's intimidating you because he's keeping you busy in his shit all the time. So you don't have any time to think for your own self. You cannot relax. You cannot have a moment to realize what your life has become. So 24/7, it doesn't give you a break. He doesn't let you look after yourself. There is no self-care in this house with this man. Then he's regularly taunting. So every nice thing you do, let's say you have done the nicest thing for him, he will look at you and say, so what are you buttering me up for? What do you want? Why are you doing this? So even the nicest of things that you do with the kindest of intention, because obviously when a woman is living with a man like that, she's trying to impress him all the time. She's trying to make sure she's walking on eggshells. She's trying to make sure that he's not angry and he's not in that mode where he can intimidate her. So the more submissive she gets, the more violent and the more nasty his reaction is, because every person knows, this is a very basic common sense, that when you're being hateful to someone, the other person is never gonna love you. The only thing they can do is they try to obey you because they are afraid of you. And love is not given when somebody is afraid. So this person, the man who is doing this, he knows that after all the shit I'm giving to this woman, she's not gonna love me at all. But what she is doing by showing me this love is that she is pretending. So because in his mind there is no concept of love, he's gonna think that she's faking it and she's doing it with a hidden purpose or something. Maybe she's put poison. I've seen cynical fucking men who check all the rice containers in the middle of the night because they think their wife is hiding some poison or something in the middle of rice and lentils, because they are so hateful and mean, they think their wife is gonna kill them. So yeah, next time somebody tells you that you don't get to apply for a divorce because there's no broken bones or bruises or scars or things like that, show them this video and tell them that this is the shit you have been through and you deserve a divorce if you are going through anything like this, and nobody else in the world can tell you that you don't deserve a divorce. You don't need to show broken bones to the rest of the world and parade your problems and parade your broken heart in front of the whole world world to get their sympathy. If they don't have the heart to understand what you have been through, screw them. Screw them. Don't give two shits about their opinion. Get a divorce because you need it, friend. You're gonna need it. So until next time, please look after yourself. Please share this with any woman who you think might be going through a similar thing, and she's trying to, most women do that, they try to defend and excuse their husband's bad behavior to even themselves, saying, oh, so what, he doesn't beat me around, so let's just put up with this. So what, he is not sleeping around maybe, or he is not breaking my head into 10 pieces every night, so let me just put up with it. Other woman in the neighbor's house, she got it worse, so maybe I have to be thankful for the husband that I have. No, honey, you don't have to be. This is not normal behavior. This is not how normal men act like, and this is not how normal men should act like. And if any man out there is listening to this, please don't put up with this shit if your wife is doing this, because gender is not the issue here. Any control freak, any person who's trying to intimidate you into doing things their way, it's not fair on anybody. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you have to put up with this. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you cannot get psychologically hurt. It doesn't mean you don't have emotions, you don't have a heart, and you're not a human. It doesn't mean that. With this message, I hope you stay out of such shitty marriages, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.